In part writing assignment number 3, we are continuing to only use tonic and dominant chords. Remember that in part writing assignment number 1, amongst soprano, alto, and tenor, there was one common tone and the other two voices moved by step. In part writing assignment number 3, amongst soprano, alto, and tenor, there will still be one common tone between the 1 chord and the 5 chord. Then the third of the 1 chord is going to move to the third of the 5 chord, and for the most part this is going to be a leap and change directions. The other voice is going to move by step, and there will be a voice exchange with the third to third. Let's look at what that looks like. Here is the progression in C major. We have 1, 5, 1. So in the lead sheet symbols we have C, G, C. The soprano, C up to E. E is on scale degree 3. C to E, that's a 10. G to B. B is the leading tone, that's scale degree 7. B to G. Why does that say 5? That is a 10 as well. And then C, C, octave. So everything is labeled for you in measure 1, and those labels you will put at the first measure of every system. When we move to transpose this is going to go to the key of A major. So we're going to have 1, 5, 1 in A major, which is an A chord, A, B, C, D, E. E is the root of the 5 chord, and back to A major. A, C sharp, and E, moving to E, G sharp, and B, and back to A, C sharp, and E. As the 1 chord moves to the 5 chord, the third of the 1 chord is moving to the third of the 5 chord. So let's start just by writing our bass. A, E, A. Make certain that your notation is very, very neat. Take the time to make it neat. The soprano is not just an octave, not 2 octaves, but 2 octaves and a third. So A to A, that's 1 octave. 2 octaves is up to A4, and then the C sharp, which is already in the key signature. C sharp is the third of the A, C sharp, E chord. That C sharp needs to move to the third of the 5 chord, which is going to be G sharp. In the model, the third of the 1 chord leaps down a fourth to the third of the 5 chord. So C sharp is going to go down to G sharp, which is in the key signature. G sharp is the leading tone in the key of A. A, B, C, D, F, G sharp, A, G sharp, A. The leading tone in the soprano will return to tonic. Let me say that again. When the leading tone, which is scale degree 7, is in soprano, it will go up to tonic, up to scale degree 1, or you can call that scale degree 8, or you can say it goes up to tonic. The same is true if the leading tone is in the bass voice. Soprano and bass we tend to call the outer voices, because the tenor and alto are the inner voices, soprano and bass are the outer voices. So when the leading tone, scale degree 7, is in outer voices, it will move up to scale degree 1. We now have our soprano and our bass. Let's look at our alto here. The alto started on the 5th and remained as the common tone. So the 5th, A, C, E, alto will be on E with its stem down, and it's the common tone between A, C sharp, E, and E, G sharp, B, and it remains on E as the common tone. The tenor started an octave above and ascended by step. So an octave above the bass is A, and A is not in E, G sharp, B, so the tenor has to move by step. The chord already had a root, and a third, so it moves by step to take the fifth of the chord, and as we already know that it continues moving up by step, but as we look at what we already have, in the bass we have the root, alto has the fifth, soprano has the root, 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 fifth, we're missing the third, so the tenor ascends on up to the third. In the fourth issue up here, it says a voice exchange with third to third. Quite often, you will have a voice exchange. Notice that the C sharp that started in the soprano transferred to the tenor. From the tenor, the root of the chord, the double root, transferred from the tenor to the soprano. So when you have voice leading such that the third of a chord leaps to the third of the next chord, quite often you will end up with a voice exchange. It also happened in measure 1. The E in the soprano transferred to the tenor C transferred back to the soprano. That will be the case in second system. The voice exchange in the second system, E flat in the tenor transfers via voice exchange to the soprano. The soprano started on C, and via voice exchange transfers that pitch to C. It also happens in the third system. The G in the tenor transfers at the end of the measure to the soprano, and soprano B to the B in the tenor. Finish out this page. Make certain that you are transposing literally. Everything from C to A is down a third. All four voices transferred down a third. Make certain that you keep the intervallic relationship between adjacent voices exactly the same. Bass to tenor was an octave. Tenor to alto was a fifth. Alto up to soprano was a sixth. Those same relationships, intervallic relationships, are duplicated when we copy in another key.